All right, we're going to go now to the third dan techniques, and also we're going to do a little bit of review of kata 5. So one of the first ones we want to learn for dealing with the third dan is what you would do if somebody had a knife in their hand and they were going to slash, like we learned in locking gate, but this time they're slashing lower, so they're coming in toward the body, and could be used for this kind of motion or for a straight in. This works fine, but we have a little better chance when it swings because our brain has time, a little more time, fractionally, to see that arcing attack. This is a little faster, a little bit harder to stop. This technique will work for both, but again, better chance when it comes in this way. So this is called slashing blade. As the guy comes in with the knife, he'll probably step in with his right foot because about 85% of people are right-handed. So he'll probably come in with his right hand, most likely. So if we see that, when his right foot comes in, we're also going to take our right foot and move in toward the guy. So as he attacks, turn our body sideways, we're less of a target, and we get in really close by stepping in with our right foot. And now the guy's knife in his arm is probably past our body, and maybe we get hit with his forearm, but not his blade. So it's counterintuitive, but as he attacks, we're going to move into him. Step in with the right foot as he swings into a horse stance, basically just a heel-toe position, and your right knee will be right up against his right knee, and we call that a knee check. So your knee goes into his knee. And then if you were to bend your right knee more, your knee would drive into his and knock him off balance, or it might make his knee bend the wrong way. That could end the fight right there. So whenever you are close in, with a knife it'd be really close in, try to get your knee to go up against his knee. That's a knee check. So step one, as he swings with his right and steps in with his right, you move in with your right. At the same time, you can use your left hand to do a hooking parry. So you're bending your wrist to catch that guy's arm and move it out to your left side. And that's timed with your foot. So you're doing that motion and stepping. If your hand ends up getting there before your foot, that's good. So your hand's always going to move a lot faster than your leg because your leg is longer. So you don't have to have them go exactly together. You can go hand, then foot. So we call it slashing blade because it's a slashing blade coming in toward our lower body. We're going to hook it to control it. We're going to turn sideways, less of a target. And we're going to do the smartest thing, which is to move in real close to the opponent. At the same time, we take a right heel of hand. As you recall, that's just like a chop. Thumb is tucked into the side. You flex your fingers in, and that's tightening up your hand. You're going to use this part of your hand only. You're going to hit the guy in the jaw. You're going to come in, but also up. So you hit to the jaw, knock his head back. That hit to the jaw is very famous in boxing. They don't use a heel of hand, but they hit up. And it causes very often a knockout. So we're going to come up underneath. That's timed with the foot and with the hand. Doing all those things at the same time is really good. Everything happens faster, ends the fight quicker. And by stepping in with the hand, you not only have the velocity and power of your arm, but you have your body mass and your body weight coming in behind that attack. So you've more than doubled your power. That could end the fight right there. Right to the jaw, his head goes back, opens up his front targets. He can't see what's going on. Most likely he's been knocked out. So that's the first motion. Always the first motion is probably what's going to stop the fight. Probably don't need any more. So we go hook, we step in, heel of hand to the jaw, knock his head back. When you hit the jaw, you just let your arm keep going up. So you don't have to snap it back, but because the head can pivot, because of the cervical spine, you can hit and keep going up in a big arc behind your back. And then you're going to follow up with a reverse punch into the solar plexus. This is still frozen in position, keeping his arm in check. You could always grab him if you needed to. Probably don't even need to grab. It's an extra step that's not really necessary. You're just keeping his arm at bay. So you hit to the jaw, big circle, and then reverse punch into the solar plexus. Remember, the mechanics of the system, we very often will do things where we fire the first strike and it causes the body to change. It causes, when the head goes back, the lower body comes forward. That opens up the target, but also it makes the target come in towards you, so you're actually making his body come in to your reverse punch. Hitting the solar plexus like that, it's going to cause the guy to lose all of his air, can't breathe for a little while, and he's going to collapse forward, further going into shock. Some people think of the solar plex region here having so many nerve connections. It's almost like a secondary brain. If you look at the nerve tissue of the solar plexus, it's about like that. The brain we think of as like 2 fists worth of neurons. So that's a pretty big chunk, almost like a primitive second brain. It controls a lot of the muscles, the GI tract, the breathing, of the motion of the diaphragm. So when we hit it hard, it can cause a lot of problems. So we have the hook, the heel of hand. The weapon keeps moving, a big arc, reverse punch to the solar plexus. This is still again in position. And then bend your right knee in. That's called a knee knock. Drive your knee into your opponent's knee to either break his knee or knock him off balance. And then tighten up your core, shift your weight back, and lift your foot up underneath and behind his groin. You curl up your toes like you would on a front kick and scoop through the groin. So the scoop goes underneath and then it pulls back. So it's not like a snap kick that hinges, but it lifts right from the horse. You have to tighten up here to lift. Lift, come up underneath, and then pull back. It's a bad analogy, but there's a tool called a garden hoe. It's a pole with a blade. It's kind of like that. You're coming up underneath the groin, behind the testicles, and then ripping back. So it's like kicking someone in the groin times 5. It's a lot more effective. So this slashing blade, hook, parry, moving in beyond the weapon, heel of hand to the jaw, big circle, reverse hand punch to the solar plexus, keep everything in position, knee knock, lift your hands up to protect your midline, shift your weight back slightly, and then scoop through the groin. After you scoop, pause for a second, and then just come back, fighting stance, and you got it. That's slashing blade.